Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, a First Chapter Friday read-aloud video and mystery quote with the Word Nerd.
Today, as you listen, watch for the story quote that will appear on screen. Write it down word by word and then follow the instructions given to you by your teacher. Stay all the way to the end to see if you've written it down correctly.
Before we dive into Chapter 1, I want to give a real quick shout out to Mrs. Wopat's class in Holman, Wisconsin. Thanks for recommending this great book to me. Hi, my name is Amanda Zieba. Welcome to my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd, and another First Chapter Friday video. This week, I'm going to be reading to you from Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. Now, before I dive in, real quick, little vocabulary lesson. This is B.B.'s debut book. Debut means that it's the first one he's ever written and published. So unlike some of our other authors on this channel, like Kate Messner, or James Patterson, or Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, or Jennifer A. Nielsen, those people are called prolific authors because they've written many books. This is BB's first, so it's called debut. Prolific author means they've got a lot of books. Debut author means this is their very first one. This is also the first book in a series. I know that the second book, Amari and the Great Escape, is coming, so be tuned for that. If you are a super fan of Harry Potter or Percy Jackson by two other very prolific authors, I know you are going to love this story as well. I'm going to read you the inside cover because that's where we find the blurb on a hardcover book, so you know what the story is about, and then I will read you Chapter 1. Amari Peters has never stopped believing her missing brother Quentin is alive. Not even when the police told her otherwise, or when she got in trouble for standing up to bullies who said he was gone for good. So when she finds a ticking briefcase in his closet, containing a nomination for a summer tryout at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, she's certain the secret organization holds a key to locating Quentin. If only she can wrap her head around the idea of magicians, fairies, aliens, and other supernatural creatures, and the fact that they are all very real. Now she must compete for a spot against kids who've known about magic their whole lives. No matter how hard she tries, Amari can't seem to escape their intense scrutiny and doubt, especially once her own supernaturally enhanced talent is deemed illegal. With an evil magician threatening the supernatural world and her classmates thinking she's an enemy, Amari has never felt more alone. But if she doesn't stick it out and pass the tryouts, she may never find out what happened to her brother Quentin. So already, just in reading that blurb, there are several connections or similarities between Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and Amari. So if you're like, yes, I've been waiting for another book just like that, then you are in luck because this one is going to be it. All right. Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, Chapter 1. I'm sitting in the principal's office. Again. In the hallway, on the other side of the glass door, Principal Merritt is getting an earful from Emily Grant's mom. With all those wild hand gestures, you'd think I did a whole lot more than give her stuck-up little Miss Princess daughter a tiny shove. Emily got up in my face, not the other way around. Wasn't my fault she lost her balance and fell on her butt in front of everybody. Emily stands behind her mom, surrounded by her squad. They cover their mouths and whisper, eyeing me through the door like they can't wait to catch me alone. I lean back in my chair out of view. You really done it this time, Amari, I think to myself. I glance up at the picture of the brown-skinned boy on the wall behind Principal Merritt's desk and frown. Quentin proudly holds up the trophy he won in the state math competition. You can't see, but me and Mama are just off stage, cheering him on. There's not much to cheer about anymore. The door swings open and Mrs. Grant stalks in, followed by Emily. Neither makes eye contact as they settle into the chairs farthest from me. Their dislike for me seems to fill up the whole office. I frown and cross my arms. The feeling is mutual. Then comes Mama in her blue hospital scrubs. She got called away from work because of me. Again. I sit up in my chair to plead my case, but she shoots me a look that kills the words in my throat. Principal Merritt takes his seat last, his weary eyes moving between us. I know there's a history between the two girls, but seeing as it's the last day of school, I want this girl's scholarship revoked, Mrs. Grant explodes. I don't pay what I pay in tuition to have my daughter assaulted in the hallways. Assaulted? I start, but Mama raises a hand to cut me off. Amari knows better than to put her hands on other people, says Mama, but this has been a long time coming. Those girls have harassed my daughter since she first set foot on this campus. The messages they left on her social media pages were so ugly we considered deleting her accounts. And we addressed that matter as soon as it was brought to our attention, says Principal Merritt. All 4 girls received written warnings. How about the stuff they say to my face? I lean forward in my chair, face burning. They call me charity case and free lunch and remind me every chance they get that kids like me don't belong here. Because you don't, says Emily. Quiet, Mrs. Grant snaps. Emily rolls her eyes. Mrs. Grant stands, turning her attention to Mama. I'll have a talk with my daughter about her behavior, but your daughter got physical. I could press charges. Be thankful that this is as far as I'm taking it. Mama bristles, but bites her tongue. I wonder if it's because Emily's mom is right about pressing charges. Practically the whole school saw. Up, says Mrs. Grant to her daughter, and they head for the door. Mrs. Grant stops short and looks back at us. I expect to be notified the moment her scholarship is revoked. At the Parents Association meeting, we will have a lot to say about this. The door slams shut behind them. I can barely sit still. I'm so mad. This is all so unfair. People like Emily and Mrs. Grant will never understand what it's like to not have money. They can do whatever they want with no consequences while the rest of us have to watch our every step. Are you really taking away Amari's scholarship? Mama asks in a small voice. Principal Merritt drops his eyes. We have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to physical altercations. School rules dictate she be expelled. Taking her scholarship is the smallest punishment I can offer. I see. Mama sinks in her chair. My anger melts into shame. Mama's already sad because of Quentin. I shouldn't be adding to her troubles just because I can't handle a few bullies. I know it's been difficult, Principal Merritt says, since Quentin's disappearance. He was a great kid with a truly bright future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to connect the dots between that incident and the start of your behavior problems, Amari. I can arrange for you to talk to a counselor, free of charge. I don't need a counselor, I interrupt. Principal Merritt frowns. You should talk to someone about your anger. You want to know why I shoved Emily? It's because she thought it was funny to joke that my brother is dead. But he isn't. I don't care what anyone says. He's out there somewhere, and when I find him, I'll show you all. I'm shaking, tears streaming down my face. Principal Merritt doesn't say anything. Mama stands up slowly and pulls me into her arms. Go to the car, baby girl. I'll finish up here. We ride home in silence. It's been almost 6 months since Quentin went missing, but it doesn't feel that long. Seems like just the other day he was calling Mama's phone to say he'd be home for Christmas. It was a big deal because Quentin was always gone once he got that fancy job after high school. The kind where you can't tell anybody what you do. I used to swear up and down that Quentin was some super secret spy like James Bond, but he would just give me this little smirk and say, "You're wrong, but you're not totally wrong." Whenever I tried to get more out of him, he'd just laugh and promise to tell me when I got older. See, Quentin is smart. He graduated valedictorian from Jefferson Academy and got full scholarship offers from 2 Ivy League schools. He turned them both down to work for whoever he's working for. When he went missing, I was sure his secret job had something to do with it, or at least that somebody who worked with him might know what happened. But when we told the detectives about his job, they looked at me and Mama like we were crazy. They had the nerve to tell us that, as far as they could tell, Quentin was unemployed. There were no tax records to indicate that he ever had a job of any kind, but that just didn't make sense. He'd never lie about something like that. When Mama told them he used to send money home to help out with bills, the detective suggested that Quentin might be involved in something that he didn't want us to know about. Something illegal. That's always what people think when you come from the Wood, aka the Rosewood Low-Income Housing Projects. The car rattles as we pass over the railroad tracks, letting me know that we're in my neighborhood now. I'm not gonna lie, it feels different coming back here after being on the other side of town. It's like the world is brighter around Jefferson Academy and all those big colorful houses that surround it. Where I'm from feels great in comparison. We pass liquor stores and pawn shops, and I see D-boys leaning up against street signs, meaning mean mugging like they own the whole world. Jaden, a boy I knew in elementary school, stands with a bunch of older boys, a big gold chain around his neck. He recognizes the car and shoots me a grin as we pass. I try to smile back, but I don't know if it's convincing. We haven't spoken since Quinton went missing, not since he started hanging with the guys he promised my brother he'd stay away from. Once we pulled up in front of our apartment building, Mama buries her face in her hands and cries. Are you okay? I ask. I feel like I'm failing you, baby girl. I work 12-hour shifts 5 days a week. You should have somebody around who you can talk to. I'm fine. I know you only work so much because you have to. Mama shakes her head. I don't want you to have to struggle like I do. That scholarship to Jefferson Academy was your ticket to a good college, to a better life. Lord knows I can't afford to send you to a place like that on my own. I don't know what we're supposed to do now. I'm sorry, but I never fit in at that place. I cross my arms and turn to look out the window. Just because my brother made it look so easy doesn't mean I can too. I'm not Quentin. I'm not asking you to be your brother, Mama says. I'm just asking you to try. That school was an opportunity for you to see that there's a big, wide world outside this neighborhood, a chance to broaden your horizons. She sighs. I know it's unfair, but the truth is that when you're a poor black girl from the woods, certain people are going to already have it in their minds what type of person you are. You can't give them a reason to think that they're right. I don't respond. She acts like this isn't something she's already told me a million times. If you're not acting up in school, says Mama, then you're sitting in front of that computer for hours. It's not healthy, Amari. I mean, I know she's right. But it's hard to concentrate on schoolwork when you can hear other kids whispering about you, and posting photos of Quentin on as many websites as I can lets me feel like I'm helping with the search. I know it's a long shot, but it gives me hope. Mama continues. When you get inside, I want you to slip that laptop under my door and leave it there. But Mama, she waves her hand, I don't want to hear it. Until you decide to take your future more seriously, that computer stays with me. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. You've got to get back to the hospital. I slam the car door after I get out, and I don't look back once as I stomp toward our building. What am I supposed to do now? Once I'm inside the apartment, I fall over onto the couch and bury my head in the pillows. This has been the worst day. Finally, with a groan, I pull myself up into a sitting position and grab my old beat-up laptop from my book bag. Quinton won it after placing second at some international science fair forever ago. He gave it to me after he won a better one the next year. I'm not even surprised when the screen stays black after I open it up. I open it and close it a few times, but it still won't work. Since it's clearly in one of its moods, I set it down and head to the kitchen to get myself some food. Except, even after I've calmed my grumbling belly, the laptop still won't turn on. I close my eyes and bring it up to my forehead. Mama says I've got to give you up, and there's no telling when she'll give you back. Please work. This time, it powers right up. Thank goodness. The free neighborhood Wi-Fi is super slow, but I'm still able to copy and paste Quentin's missing persons poster onto a dozen websites. Normally, I'd check his email next. I figured out his password months ago, Amari-Amazing, my fake superhero name from way back. But my curiosity gets the better of me, and I pull up Emily Grant's Instagram page to see if she posted anything about today. And what do I find? A photo of me on her profile with a caption, Summer break, and guess what? We finally took out the trash at Jefferson. Expelled! The post has a ton of comments from other students. I only read a few before I slammed the laptop shut. Never wanted her here. I heard she used to steal stuff from the lockers. All it took was for her dumb brother to drop dead. I didn't get expelled, and my brother isn't dead. Jaw clenched, I opened my laptop again to write a reply to shut them all up. A notification appears at the top of my screen, and my whole body goes stiff. It's a new email. For Quinton. One new email from Discreet Deliveries. Which may not sound like a lot, but Quentin never gets new emails, ever. I've been checking the day every day since I figured out his password. I open the email. It says, Package delivered. You shall receive a separate email once Amari Peters has signed as requested. Thanks for using Discreet Delivery Service, where they get what's coming to them, whether they know it or not. This email will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. The email vanishes. I jump in surprise. Did that email really just... And what am I supposed to sign? A knock sounds from the front door. Delivery! If you want to know what the delivery is and what happens next, and if Amari finds her brother Quentin, you should totally pick up a copy of Amari and the Night Brothers. And if you love it as much as I did, then you'll want to continue on with the rest of the series, which I will link everything for you down in the description box. Thanks so much for joining me for another First Chapter Friday, and I will see you again next time. Happy reading! To continue reading Amari and the Night Brothers, pick up a copy from your school library, purchase one from a local indie bookstore, or grab it via the link in the description box. Then be sure to check out the rest of the First Chapter Friday videos I have for you on this playlist. Today's mystery quote says, "People tend to fear what they don't understand, and fear can far too easily become hatred."
Thanks for stopping by my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. Please like this video and subscribe. You can find more great content from me online at these places. Happy reading, and I'll see you again next time for another First Chapter Friday video.